Welcome to ServiceNow Tech Bites, bringing you an inside look at our products. I'm your host, Steve Miller. Today we're going to talk with product managers Rohan Tyagi and Julian Flores about how you can manage and optimize concurrent licenses using ServiceNow's software asset management application. Stay tuned. Well, joining me today are Rohan Tyagi and Julian Flores. Welcome to Tech Bites.
Thanks, Steve. Happy to be here. It's been a long time being on your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Very excited to record my first podcast. So happy to be here.
Okay, glad to have you both. Before we get started, maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves. Like, what do you folks do here at ServiceNow? Rohan?
Yeah, I'm part of the software asset management product team here at ServiceNow, just building product features that empower our customers to optimize their licenses and realize savings for the organization.
And how about you, Julian?
Yeah, I'm also a product manager with our software asset management team, and I focus on our customer facing programs. So, our design partner program, our product advisory council, and I manage our technology partnerships for the SAM product.
Okay. And how about when you guys aren't at work? What do you like to do? Rohan?
Yeah. So these days, outside of work, I'm busy changing diapers of the twin boys. They're just 3 months old and consume most of my time outside of work. And if I get a chance, I do like running long distance and also do yoga.
Yeah, we saw some pictures of your newborn boys. Really cute.
Yeah, they do. Thanks.
How about you, Julian? What do you like to do outside of work?
Well, my family and I are actually relative newcomers to Dallas. So, we've been exploring the city, love to travel with the family, and I married a professional chef. So, food and wine are definitely a passion for us.
Ah, nice. Good choice. All right, so let's get started talking about software asset management. Before we talk about ServiceNow's product in particular, maybe you can give our folks who aren't familiar a background about what the whole area of software asset management is about.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of companies today, they struggle with the complexity of managing their IT assets and software licenses, especially as more and more companies move to a hybrid infrastructure. So they might be deploying hundreds, if not thousands, of software titles in their traditional on-premise data center and public cloud and private cloud environments. And each of those software vendors has their own complex and unique licensing terms. So companies are really left to fend for themselves when it comes to managing these assets. And in many cases, the mismanagement of those IT assets can lead to very costly compliance issues. So that's using more software than you purchased. It can lead to overspending. So not knowing what you're using can lead to oversized contracts or buying software that you don't really need. And it really ends up in the area of poor strategic decisions being made when it comes to software license. So what we're doing in platform now with SAM is providing our customers with that visibility into their entire software estate, no matter where it's being deployed. And what the product does is it automates that complexity of normalizing that software data, and we automatically apply those complex publisher rules. So now customers are in the position to compare exactly what they're using with what they're licensed for. So running this on the ServiceNow platform also gives them the unique ability to manage the entire asset lifecycle, all the way from a request to the procurement, deployment, and retirement of that asset. And so really what we're driving, the benefits we're driving for our customers is reducing software spend. So knowing exactly what you're using is going to put you in a better position to negotiate your software contracts. We minimize compliance risk, so giving you this real-time, up-to-date measurement of what you're using and what you've spent on the software really helps customers stay within the boundaries of their software contracts. Optimizing license usage, we could tell customers where their software installed but no longer being in use. We can automate the reclamation of that software and put those licenses back on the shelf. And really the goal here is automating these traditionally manual IT tasks that are related to their software assets. So supporting the request, procurement, and delivery of those software titles.
Okay, thanks. That's a good background picture. So now let's talk a little bit more about the specifics. First of all, can you explain what are concurrent software licenses?
Yeah. So when companies buy concurrent licenses, they get a pool of those keys or license keys, which are not just assigned to one person or one device. They are shared among all the employees of the company. So whenever a user wants to use that particular software, they would make a request to that machine which has the pool of licenses. In this world, we typically call them as license management servers. So that license management server will get the request that this user wants to use the software. So it checks out that license for that user. And once the user is done with the access to the software, when he closes the application or whichever way, he checks it back into the license pool. So that same license becomes available for someone else to pick up. And concurrency, again, is that if let's say you have purchased 500 licenses, 500 concurrent users can use it at the same time. If the next user 501 comes in and requests the license, he will be denied that license. So the type of applications or the software applications that uses these concurrent licenses typically fall in the engineering and industrial software category. And these are software applications like computer aided design and computer aided modeling applications, CAD CAM, which you may have heard of, aerospace industry, city planning software, geospatial information system software. So these are like really highly specialized software applications for specialized industries, and they're pretty expensive. So companies really want to have a good handle on the consumption of these licenses and know if they are at a risk of getting denials, and that could lead into the delays and all that stuff. So that's the whole idea behind concurrent licenses, and which software applications want to use these concurrent licenses, and why customers would want to have a good handle on them.
Okay, that makes sense. So, given that as a background, what kind of special challenges do companies face in managing concurrent licenses, and how does software asset management help solve those challenges?
Yeah, great question. And if we start by looking at the challenges, very similar to kind of the industry wide challenges that I mentioned earlier. So, within that engineering application space, each vendor is going to have their own unique licensing terms. So, they may have a different definition of how you calculate concurrent usage. They may call it by different names. And it can get pretty confusing for companies that are very heavy on the engineering application usage. And each of these vendors, they also might have their own license management server technology. So we can have customers that have dozens of different license management server technologies supporting hundreds of engineering applications. So having a consolidated view of all the usage and all the information that you're going to need is very hard to come by. As Rohan mentioned, these licenses can be very expensive. So the mismanagement or the overbuying or underspending of these licenses can be a very costly decision. And if you buy too few, you do put your employees in this position where if they have a tight deadline or there's a major project going on, you could see a spike in denials of access to these licenses, and productivity can really plummet if you're not properly licensed. So, to solve these challenges for our customers, the SAM team, we've partnered with a company called OpenLM. So OpenLM, they have an agent-based and a cloud-based solution that's going to integrate with those dozens of license management server technologies that I mentioned. They're able to aggregate in near real time all the information that we would need. So that would be user requests, license usage, license availability, pretty much everything that a SAM manager is going to want to be aware of. What we do with the integration is with ServiceNow and our SAM solution, we're pulling in this OpenLM data directly into the platform. And what we do is we enhance this data, we normalize it. So we take this raw feature specific information, we run it through our normalization engine, and we're actually able to map what all of this usage data means from what kind of software application did I buy, and map that from a usage to our software entitlement perspective. This is going to help our customers not only maintain compliance, but also be in a position to better negotiate their software renewal when it comes up for the contract. We also help our customers through the SAM solution to optimize their licenses based on historical trends. So if we see that a customer has a license management server that's only going to be leveraging maybe 60% of the licenses over a given period of time, maybe the past 1 or 2 quarters, we can start suggesting to our customers that they reduce the amount of licensing that they're paying for because they never come close to hitting 100% utilization. So giving them that insight to actually reduce their license cost. We can also highlight those areas of loss in productivity. So if there's a specific geography, if there's a specific time of the day, maybe year end, that we're seeing these major spikes in denials, we can start suggesting to customers that they shift licenses around during these periods of time to make sure that they're not having those productivity losses that we discussed. And the way we're presenting this information to our customers is directly through our software asset management dashboard, which is leveraging our performance analytics capabilities.
So, just so I know, I just had a question. You talked about spikes in usage and moving licenses around. Do the companies who issue licenses, do they provide some of that flexibility themselves, or is it really the responsibility of the user to do that?
As it's similar with most software vendors, it's really up to the customer, the company that's purchasing these licenses, to effectively manage them. They're really left to fend for themselves when it comes to that part of asset management.
Okay, so that makes the capabilities of this product all the more valuable.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're talking now about a new feature here, this new integration of OpenLM. When's this going to be available?
Yeah, Steve, it is coming in the Orlando release of ServiceNow, and which is usually around the Q1 timeframe of next year, which is 2020.
Okay, great. So it's coming, it's just around the corner then. What do people have to do to take advantage of this new OpenLM capability?
Yeah, that's a good question, Steve. So yes, OpenLM is a different software piece which has to be installed and configured in the customer's environment. And OpenLM is also available not just on-premise, as Julian said before, it is also a cloud solution. So it can be either ways, but yeah, it has to be installed. But the good thing is that our store app is going to have a guided setup, which will walk the customers through the entire process of obtaining those OpenLM licenses or software and then deploying it, and then in the end configuring it to connect with ServiceNow to send that data. All of that will be given in the guided setup, and it will be very intuitive to follow the steps and perform this simple configuration to integrate with ServiceNow.
Okay, so we've wrapped that OpenLM in an app on our store. That's how people acquire it.
Yes, that is true.
Does the customer need to buy OpenLM licenses for that?
Well, if the customer is not already an OpenLM customer, maybe they might just be a ServiceNow SAM customer, they do need to buy the respective OpenLM licenses. We do have some customers that are already mutual ServiceNow and OpenLM customers that are looking at the integration without having to purchase additional licenses.
Okay, so they can take advantage of what they already have.
Exactly.
Okay, well, once they've integrated the OpenLM capability, how do they get started using it with SAM?
Yeah, so even that integration capability is provided as part of the guided setup, as I said before. So I'll tell you how they will start getting all of this. So customers just need to go to the ServiceNow store, which is store.servicenow.com. And when they search for OpenLM, they will find an application which they can request, and that gets installed in their instance. And once it gets installed in their instance, they will go to the application navigator, again, search for OpenLM, and then there will be a guided setup as the very first step in that application. And that guided setup will walk them through the steps of integration and all the configurations they will need. So this is again for the existing OpenLM customers. If they are existing OpenLM customers, they might have to upgrade their OpenLM software. But if they are net new customers, then all they need to do is just go to Store app, get the OpenLM latest version, and just follow the steps in the guided setup and get this configuration done.
So that sounds like a pretty easy way to get started. A question occurs to me: how come you guys chose OpenLM? Well, what's special about that that made it well suited for this application?
Yeah, from a technical perspective, we saw OpenLM as a leader in this space. So it was fairly easy to, tick all the boxes when it came to the technical requirements. When it came to the OpenLM team, I mean, we just really hit it off from the start. Everyone we've worked with, from sales to development to their leadership team, they really all have a passion for their customers and they have a passion for solving complex problems. So, software asset management, can sometimes be viewed as a dry conversation topic. So it's been really great engaging with them because they're just as excited as we are about innovating in the software asset management space. So it's been a great collaboration and a great project.
Well, that sounds wonderful. It sounds like a good fit, like the two cultures really go together. Okay, well, that's a good overview of the whole thing here. Is there anything else you might want to mention before we wrap up?
Yes, there are few takeaways that our listeners should take away from this podcast is that first, when considering this application, you have to also think about the breadth of license management server support that we are providing with integrating with OpenLM. So OpenLM is not tied to just one type of technology or one type of license management server. It can go connect uh, with a number of dozens of license management servers, which are supporting about thousands of engineering applications. So it's all about the breadth of the support. The second thing is the power of ServiceNow platform and the software asset management application on that platform, and the benefits that we get from the close integrations. So customers will see real time the effort that we put in integrating with OpenLM. We worked with them throughout the release so that the experience is just seamless, and that will be quite visible in the product. So you will see that. The third thing is the reporting and performance analytics capabilities that we have inbuilt in the product. Those who are familiar with our software asset management professional, they would know about that. But if you but the whole point is that this solution will not require customers to have a professional services engagement or look into a different tool to run these kind of reports that are really critical for them. It's just very easy to get the real insights into the data that we are collecting through OpenLM about those engineering applications using our performance analytics capabilities. So we are coming up with our out of the box dashboards and reports, but then if customers have their custom requirements to create reports, it becomes really, really easy.
Okay, thanks. That's a great overview. So where would users go for more information on this?
Yeah, so product documentation is the place where you would see all the technical documents. We will be quite active on the community if you have any questions or any suggestions. We do also have an idea portal there, but in general, community is a great source for any questions and discussions. Uh, uh, and the release of OpenLM app, if you are thinking about that, is coordinated with our Orlando release. So as soon as you see that Orlando is generally available, at the same time, you can go to the ServiceNow store and look up for OpenLM app.
Okay, and how about on the community? Is that community, are people discussing that, or is that it hasn't begun yet?
Yeah, so community is always open to our customers to ask questions and post ideas or just have a quick brainstorming or discussion with other folks on the community. So if there are topics related to engineering apps already in the community and we are answering them, but if you have further questions or you want to know more about what we are coming up with, we will probably be able to answer those questions on the community. So please feel free to reach out there and post anything that you want to know about this.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that community is a wonderful forum for just about any topic, so I'm glad you guys have a presence there. All right, well, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. That's been an interesting talk, and it's really been a pleasure having you guys on the podcast.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Please tell us what you think of this podcast. You can leave feedback or ask questions in the ServiceNow community. For more information on any ServiceNow topic, take a look at our product documentation, knowledge base, or ServiceNow support YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.